Fine. Hello. If you're here, then we are doing a sound check and a camera check. So we're just getting ready. Camera check. So we're just getting ready.
That's on there.
So we're just getting ready.
So it's up.
It's echoing.
So it's well, I'm gonna mute.
Okay. Oh, look. There's Matt. Hey, Matt. What's up?
So is that sound getting too tight, or do you want it?
No. Perfect. I think it's good. Do you need to get up here? Come on. Come on. You got us all. I mean, we are live.
It's kind of hard.
You want me to turn it like this so you can see
Well,
us?
then I'm gonna be looking at that, not looking at the
Gotta
camera.
look at it.
I'll look over there so that I need to be watching the questions too.
Yeah. So we are in. Hey, we are in. Hey, Kim and Greg. We are in Livestream, Texas. Still. If you didn't watch our last couple of videos, we had to re-domicile in Texas. And that process didn't take as long as we thought it was going to. It only took most of the day. And so we've been sitting here in Livingston and waiting for the holiday because we're going to get to see the kids.
But wouldn't have taken a day.
So can everyone hear us? Are we power sound? Speak up if you got a little echo. All right. Let me mute my computer here. That's good.
That fix it.
That fix it. Audio is really bad. Multiple microphones. Okay. I'm on.
So you know when's that?
Maybe we should have mine. Bear with us. We don't have a fancy microphone. We just have a little tiny Rode mic on top of the camera. So it doesn't have any gain or anything fancy on it. Back side lens looks awesome. did a test. It was just a couple of days ago, and then,
It worked on the Windows PC.
well, that's what we should be using.
So can you hear us on the Mac PC, or does it sound really crappy?
I'll turn off my mic. Did that.
Yeah, don't do that. Alright, how's that?
Is that better? Would be better. Still crappy. Still crappy now. Still crappy. Now it's still an echo. Yay! We failed at our first real live. Switch to flashcards. Still an echo, but it's understandable. Just go to your audio device settings on the laptop and adjust the levels. Where's that, Ryan? Huh? Here?
No, up on your red bar thing. You should have a mic setting.
Oh, that?
That's control sharing.
Use the microphone allow? Or we don't want to allow it. Getting better. Okay. We turned off the AC, so now we're really
turned the AC off.
Now we're really going to start sweating.
No, I left the bedroom one on.
Awesome. Okay. Just a little buzz.
All right. So what was I doing?
Answering all those questions right there. We got a bunch of people here, y'all. I can't believe it. Hi.
All right. Rolling through our life, I was looking for your comment on our channel. I don't see it.
We'll answer it later. Or
On the most video
later?
about our situation.
Here. You can find it on my phone.
I'm literally on our.
Oh, okay. Can you? It's too long to type here or copy and paste. Is it too long? Echo stopped. Okay. Yeah, it is hot.
All right. While we're doing this, I'm gonna show y'all something that I really love. So y'all probably can't see it from back there, but this is the micro air.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing is, see, it says that the bedroom's at 67.
Yeah, crank that thing down.
I'm gonna kick that on down a couple notches.
That's a little overkill. Okay.
That way, the AC will run in the bedroom, but it'll pipe through the ducting system and maybe cool it off in here a little bit. But
thanks, Greg. We know we're hot, but not in the right way.
Oh, you can see that. All right. Not good, but
anyway. Well, we're glad that all of you are here. We're ready for any questions. We don't have any definite topics to talk about.
Yeah, do this for me, guys. If you have a question, try and put it in all caps so it stands out a little bit. If it's just a comment or something, or so it stands out a little bit. If it's just a comment or something, or you want to tell me my face looks fat on the camera, put that in lowercase. That way, because this is open to whatever y'all want to ask, and we will be. Don't ask a question you don't want the answer to, because I will absolutely give it to you.
Yeah, he will. Okay, so from the start, where are you now? We are in Livingston, Texas.
Hey, and if you're sensitive and you want somebody politically correct, I would encourage you to leave right now, because I am not that person. I am fairly blunt and honest.
Oh. Yeah, we do have to have the AC running because it is, I don't know, like 87 degrees and 65% humidity. Probably more than that. I don't know. It's hot.
So we're in Livingston, Texas, because we had to come here to re-domicile from South Dakota. We weren't in South Dakota. We were in Arizona.
All right. So I'm going to tackle this one. And first off, I agree with the stance South Dakota is taking. I don't like it, but I agree with it. The reason why is I work for a company that's based out of Virginia, but we live full-time in a fifth wheel. And I'm not going to say which mail service we use, but we use a mail forwarding service. And it comes with what's called a PMB address. It's a private mailbox. We were led to believe that we could register our vehicles, get our driver's license, use that for all our correspondence as a legal address. And you can.
Everything.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's not illegal. The problem is South Dakota has a law on their books that says if you do work within the state of South Dakota, outside of the state of South Dakota, and you're not doing it as at a physical structure, which that private mailbox is not a physical structure. I can't set a desk and a chair in there and do my work from there. It's basically a virtual presence. You have to pay state income tax to the state where the company you work for is registered. Now, why is that? It's because the company that I work for doesn't have a business license or whatever South Dakota requires for them to pay unemployment tax into the state of South Dakota. Meaning if they were to terminate me and I filed a claim against South Dakota's Department of Labor for unemployment, nobody ever paid into that, so they would lose money. So what I would have to do is file a claim in Virginia, which is where that's being paid. Now, South Dakota doesn't have an income tax, but they do have an unemployment tax. And in one of our past videos, I put up HR director sent us. They would not let my company set up an account to pay into the unemployment system in South Dakota. Why? They don't have a business license. That's how South Dakota makes their money, I'm assuming, is off of property tax, business licenses, and things like that. So they told my company, no, you don't have a physical presence here either. So by federal law, every corporation has to pay into unemployment somewhere. And if they can't pay it in the state where the employee works, they have to pay it in the state where the company is registered. And because those two things are tied together, you can't separate unemployment from withholding tax, which is your state withholding. So we were going to have to pay Virginia tax, which was astronomical. It was going to cost us about $1,000 a month. So we just moved everything to Texas because Texas doesn't have that law. So that's why we're in Texas. And honestly, our accents and the way that that I behave is more Texan than it is South Dakotan. So I feel like we should have been in Texas anyway.
Ooh,
but
I'm gonna have to
it was a longer drive to Texas than it was to South Dakota when we got the new truck. And so now we're in the state we ought to be. We're actually looking for property to buy out here anyway. So.
All right. So here is the comment that you are to answer. I don't know if you want to read it out or what, but also we have here. So your company was not paying into your company was not paying any unemployment taxes for you prior to this. They've been trying to set up unemployment for him since
September of 22.
Yeah.
They've been trying to get South Dakota to set up an account to let them pay into South Dakota unemployment.
Yeah.
When I got hired on, that was a condition of my employment was they told me they didn't have anything set up in South Dakota, but it wasn't a problem to set it up in South Dakota. So we just ran with it. Well, 9 months later, it turned out to be a problem because South Dakota wouldn't let them do it. Now, I don't know what transpired in that time frame. I don't know if they made multiple requests or if they made one request and it took 9 months to be denied. I don't know. All I know is Maria turned to me, denied. I don't know. All I know is Maria turned to me one day, I think it was a Monday, and said, hey, why is your paycheck short? And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, maybe 401k increased.
It was short by a lot.
So when I called, or when I sent an email, I got a response back saying, hey, they wouldn't let us set the account up, which means you have to divert to paying out of state, or you have to pay income tax in the state of Virginia and file a out of state income tax return at the end of the year and hope that they will send it back to you. So we opted not to do that and moved to Texas.
Okay.
But
well, you read that to yourself for a second.
I'm reading
then,
it.
Then you can read it. I'm going to answer this other question. So, right here. So where are you now and for how long? We are in Livingston, Texas. We're going to be here until actually tomorrow. We're going to go see the kids for the weekend in another part of Texas. And so our daughter's coming in town to visit her in-laws. We're going to go visit them. And then Sunday we're going to see our son. So win-win. We get to see both kids, all the kids, and the son-in-law and the in-laws, and we're going to hang out with them for the weekend, and then we're going to go hang out with our son. And then, who knows? We don't know. Where should we go? We're thinking about going to Colorado because we want to get out of this dang heat. But where should we go? Any ideas? Colorado? Everybody, yes, Colorado? We have another one. Let's see. I was asking about the internet maybe an hour ago. Every address I have tried, all my friends and family tells me T-Mobile home internet is not available. Try a local store. Matt, we're not coming to Huntsville. It's hot there too. Did you hear the question about the internet?
All right, so
South Dakota. Yeah, I know South Dakota's probably nice this time of year too. We probably will go through South Dakota. We don't harbor any ill will towards South Dakota. We love South Dakota.
Yeah, we loved it.
But here's the answer to this long
rolling through our life. So here's what I have gleaned from this situation. And let me know if you don't want me to give any of these details.
He said you could read it if you wanted to.
All right. So the income that you earn while you are working at the physical campground, that will be reported to South Dakota, and they'll pay unemployment tax in South Dakota. All of that is fine. The question is your remote work while you're in South Dakota for this other company. And I would have to say it's going to depend on the address that you gave your HR company. If your physical address in South Dakota, if you even have one, if you have a physical address in South Dakota that's on your driver's license or anything like that, that you can receive mail at, is a PMB address, meaning if you're in Box Elder, it's one of three companies, and one of them is Village something. Anyway.
Villa Drive.
If it's Villa Drive, or if it's any of the other two, you will have a number sign and a box number. Ours was 1353. So if you have that PMB and then the private mailbox number on your driver's license, or you gave that address to your HR department, that's going to get kicked back eventually from South Dakota, and you're going to have to pay income tax in the state that the company you're working for is registered. Now, if you're using the physical address of the campground as your address, that you're actually working there, then you might be able to skirt by. But if that PMB is listed on anything that you sent to your HR company, when they go to set up an account to pay into that, it's going to get kicked back.
Okay, he says, yes. Escapees, Box Elder, yes. 316 Villa Drive, yes, that was our address as well. Yes and yes. I'm paraphrasing.
So what's going to happen is when your company goes to set up an account to pay into their unemployment, they're going to provide the address that you gave them. The South Dakota Department of Labor is going to see that PMB address, and they're going to deny them the ability to set up that account. And that means you're going to end up having to pay income tax in the the state that the company you're working for is registered. Now, to get around that, what you can do is change your HR paperwork and give them your Texas address. Texas, and don't put PMB in front of it. If you're using escapees in Texas, use 113 Rainbow Drive, and then on the second line, just put 3357. Don't put the PMB in front of it. That way they'll assume it's an apartment, and there's no big deal. Now, I don't think there's a big deal putting it on there anyway, but because Texas doesn't have a law against that.
Okay.
So
he says, even though my company already has their accounts set up for other South Dakota employees, ?
All right. So when and I'm going to give the girl's name. When I talked to, I think it was Francesca, I know her name was Rossi, who works for the South Dakota Department of Labor. She told me that they had pulled a report that showed everybody's addresses, and if it had a PMB listed in the address, they were notifying the employer that that address was no longer valid in the state of South Dakota for tax purposes. Now, are they going to notify them today, next week? It may be November of this year before it gets done. But she absolutely told me that everybody using a PMB address is going to get kicked back. And the only way that they will make an exception for it is if you can show a lease agreement, a rental agreement, or a deed to property that you own in South Dakota that you could physically sit at to do work. They are not accepting that your RV is in a campground in South Dakota because you don't own it. You're basically renting that. And every one of those rental agreements state that you have no domicile capability to it. It's just like a hotel room at that point.
All right. I got one more question on this, and then we got to answer a question from Nick, who was asking you something about internet earlier. This question is, do you think that it would cause issues for Virginia or WGU admissions?
Hey, I'm a WGU graduate.
Yeah.
Hello, fellow alumni.
Looking at properties in Alabama just to fix this. What? What?
I don't know about Virginia because I haven't looked at their law. I only looked at South Dakota and Texas.
Oh, the VA. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. I
VA
read that wrong.
Now, and follow me on this. I don't think South Dakota really cares. The only people that seem to have their button a knot over this is the Department of Labor, because companies aren't paying into the unemployment system. And technically, if they allow it to go on, a remote worker in South Dakota could file a claim against their unemployment, and they don't have the money to offset it. So, the VA, I don't think they give one hoot as to where your address is. You could put, a manhole cover in Winslow, Arizona. I don't think they'd care.
He said the VA won't ship prescriptions to PMB or PO boxes. Yeah, we've had issues with prescriptions as well.
So again, I would encourage you, don't put PMB on anything. Put it down as, like it's an apartment number. But that's just me. Okay.
So the question about the internet, Nick says, I was asking about the internet maybe an hour ago. Every address I've tried to all my friends, my friends and family tell me T-Mobile home internet is not available. Just try a local store.
All right. So Nick, here's what you do. If you go to, I'm going to pull the site up real quick here. If you go to T-Mobile.com and click on their coverage map, it will show you a map of the United States, and it shows where their 5G Excel coverage is. Let me get the actual name of it, because I'll just make shit up. All right, so it's the darkest red. So what you do is you go find a place that's closest to you. And like right now we're in Livingston, so I'm just going to zoom into Livingston, which is basically anything in and around Houston. So just zoom in and find a cross street and find an address in that dark red area, give them that, and then change it later. That's what we did.
We might be giving out bad advice here.
Well, we gave them the escapees address in Livingston, Texas, because it was in that solid red area of 5G coverage, and they fired it right up. So you can list a service address and you can list a billing address. So we just told service address was escapees, gave the billing address of our escapees box, and everything was good to go.
Right.
So
he says, excellent, I'm tracking, thank you. Okay. All right. Let me see if
I lost my comments.
Oh no. Let me see if I missed anybody. If I missed anybody, put your comment down again. A lot of people talking about how hot it is or not hot. Matt said we should go back to Huntsville. It's not as hot there. And
I would love to go back to Huntsville.
Greg or WeRV says don't come to McAllen because it is very hot there as well. Hey Ryan, are you still on here? If anybody has not listened to Ryan Harmon music, you need to go and listen to him. He is awesome. We heard him in concert at the Switch It Up huddle, and we enjoyed it very much. Also, I don't know if anyone else here has a YouTube channel, but WeRV is one of our good friends, and they have a good one. You need to go check out all of their problems they've been having lately.
Yeah, if y'all... How did I lose the live stream?
I mean, I don't know.
If y'all want to see how bad it can be on the road, go check out WeRV, WeErvee on YouTube, and go look at poor Greg. And Greg, I am so sorry for you, brother. I mean, they had a small issue where the back of their rig got pulled off, and they have just been going through a time with that.
Just a freak accident. Ran into a tree branch, and it upside down their entire world. But thank goodness they have a house, and they're in McAllen. But and Greg asked, "Are you still liking your PepWave internet setup?"
Yes, 100%.
We were loving it.
Hey,
Reed and Connie.
So let's touch on the PepLink for a minute. The company's name is PepLink, and the device we have is a PepWave.
I thought it was the opposite.
I think they're interchangeable.
Okay.
When we bought it, I thought that you could put all these internet connections in it, and it would bond them all together and share all that data. Well, it will, but you have to pay an extra subscription fee for that, and it's fairly expensive, so we don't use that. What I've done is we've got T-Mobile and Verizon SIM cards that are in it. You can only use one at the time because I wasn't going to pay $3,000 for one that I could have both of them up at the same time. Then we run Starlink into it with an Ethernet adapter. Then this thing has a wireless bridge in it that will bridge a 2.4 and a 5 gigahertz wireless connection. So you've got a total of 5 connections on this thing that you can use, but you can only use one at a time. It doesn't automatically bond them together. And the reason for that is, I guess technically you could, but you'd have to build out all kind of traffic shaping in it. And I'm too lazy to do it. So I could traffic shape and tell everything that is Teams related for work, go out Starlink, and everything that is Netflix based, go out 5G cellular. But our Starlink, I was checking it earlier. We're pulling down almost 180 megs, pushing up 15 megs. I don't ever have a problem working over Starlink. And then our T-Mobile, when we're in a 5G area, we're pulling down 280 megs and 50 up. So we don't have a problem doing that either. So using one at a time is not a big deal for us.
Yes, rolling through our life makes my head hurt also. And probably most of the people in here makes their head hurt. So, but Matt said Cradle Point used to do a multi-carrier sort of SD-WAN device, but it's kind of pricey.
I will.
You don't have to explain it. Please don't.
For those of y'all that don't know, I am a Cisco network engineer, and all I do is build and secure networks. That's what I do. I have a foundation in cybersecurity, network engineering. That's what runs my life. I am like a techno geek, and Maria, it drives her batshit. So
we already, that's funny. We are not probably going to have a huddle ever. If anybody wants to meet up for camping sometime, we'd be glad to do that. What is in Clay's red cup? Are you
okay? Rolling through our life, you and I could probably sit down and have a beer. If we could get Matt to where he didn't hate driving anymore, he'd hang out with us too.
Anyway, does anybody have any other questions about the whole South Dakota thing, or please do not show the camera what's in the cup.
You have links to the new laws. I just called a certain. Yeah, actually, I will send that to you. I think I've got that on my computer.
If you'll go and comment on one of those videos, it might be easier for him to send that to you there.
Well, I'm going to send it in this chat right here, but I've got to find.
Okay. We can do Skype, Matt? What? I don't understand. I just, rolling through our life says, I just changed my work address to avoid this. Okay. So, any other votes for Colorado or any other cooler climates? I'm saying Colorado. Okay, rolling through our life says, any ideas on how this will affect voting rights for the people domiciled in South Dakota? Well, we have our suspicions that that's what started all of this.
Yeah,
Clay can't do two things at once, so he's
right,
trying.
so it's only going to let me paste 200.
So that's why I was saying you should do it in the.
No, hang on. I've got it in here because I sent it to Mr. McAfee.
All right. We'll get you the link, Curtis.
All right, so the link is coming right now.
Do we have any advice about our boondocking after our recent stay in Utah?
Yeah, don't do it.
No.
Unless you want an ass full of sand and dirt, don't do it.
Spoiler alert for our video coming Sunday. That's our third part to the boondocking series, and we didn't actually boondock in Zion and Bryce, but we did have a lot of fun in Utah. It was just, the boondocking was a lot more dirt than I was expecting. And the wind and the dirt together, just the dirt got everywhere inside, everywhere in the bed of the truck. The truck was just
brown.
Was
destroyed.
It was just like, yeah.
It looked like somebody picked the truck up, dumped it in a mud hole, and picked it back up, and it dried.
Yeah. Oh, which was our favorite park in Utah? Bryce, without a doubt.
Trying to.
Bryce was the very last one we went
All right,
to.
so y'all, I forget which parks we go to, and I have to remember the parks based on activities that we did in them. So I couldn't.
Okay.
Which one was Bryce?
Bryce was the last one we went to. That was the one that I said was so peaceful. It was
The one with the snow.
The one with snow.
Hands
The one
down,
with
Bryce.
snow. There was still snow stacked up everywhere in the pullouts and the what do you call them? The little, I don't know.
So we're kind of bougie, according to both our kids. And one, I don't mind getting dirty, but I don't like staying dirty. And I don't like.
Bryce is nice. Yes.
I like people and I don't like.
Bryce is nice. Yes.
I like people. Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't like people running around me and just there's too many people at those parks, and what you see online is you see this beautiful picturesque arch and it looks so peaceful
with no one in there, and that's not how it is.
And what you don't see are the 1,200 people
climbing under it and all around, walking everywhere.
And you think you have to walk 100 miles out to see this thing, that it's a trek to get there, and you earn something. No, it's 32 feet from the parking lot.
But the thing we loved about Bryce was that it wasn't like that.
It was like an outside library with trees.
It was so quiet and
hardly anybody there.
So peaceful. All you'd hear was maybe a bird every now and then, and it was just anyway. The snow was piled up in some of the stops along the way, as tall as Clay. I got a picture of Clay and Stella, and the snow was like 6 feet. Right. It was beautiful. It was breathtaking.
The awnings that we put up, we did one from Carefree, which is a name brand, and then we did one that is just a knockoff, and they're absolutely identical. I would buy the knockoff again for the price. It was, what was it, $80-something?
Yeah, it was
$50?
Like $89.
It was nothing compared to the cost of the Carefree, and literally, if I put them down side by side and covered up the name tags, you couldn't tell the difference.
You can't tell the difference at all. Zippers are the same, everything. We love them.
They have worked phenomenal. We love them. Probably one of the top 3 things that we did to the rig.
RVers says, my new favorite Clay quote, I like being dirty, just not staying dirty. Yeah. What is your plan for yearly physical inspection for your vehicle and rig?
All right, so here's the good thing about Texas. When you go to renew your tags online, they give you a checkbox because you're an RVer that you can self-certify that your truck and rig aren't in the state. And that checkbox just says that the next time you show up in Texas, you'll get it inspected.
We got a little super sticker from RV. Thank you guys. You're sweet.
One of the other things about Texas, and we'll get into the domicile we haven't actually domiciled here yet. We just registered and set up residency. If you go look at the Texas Department of Safety's website, it says that any vehicle coming into the state, if it's within 2 model years, you don't have to get an inspection. That is absolutely false. Well, kind of false. If you're not a Texas resident and you come into the state, you have to get it inspected, period.
Yeah.
People that live in Texas that are already Texans, if they buy a vehicle and register it and it's within 2 model years, they don't have to get it done.
Right.
So
we did. Had we known that we were going to have to do that, we would not have unpacked everything.
Yeah.
But we did unpack everything, and then when we went to register, they're like, "Where's your inspection?" And we're like, "Huh?" And then we had to come get the rig, take it to the inspection, which was a very easy process. It was very easy.
And for those of y'all that know me,
that when we came back and
I argued the point, and Texas DMV don't care.
They don't. No, they have their rules.
We went and got the inspection.
their rules are their rules. I wonder what happens if you spend multiple years out of the state of Texas before going through there again. I don't know. I wonder what happens if you go spend multiple years out of the state of Texas and then go through there again.
That I don't know, but from what I was told, every year you just check that box, and then when you show back up, you eventually get it registered. Now, I think they replace their tags every 5 years. Maybe if you don't do it within 5 years, somebody says something, I don't know. But I can tell you, I'm not going to be the one that asks that question. We've had a hard enough time with this, and I don't want to get on anybody else's radar.
Greg said, when I got my trailer registered here, I had to get inspected and weighed. And then I also tried to argue with DMV about weighing the trailer, and they would not budge. Can you self-certify for multiple years in a row?
No, you have to do it yearly because Texas, they renew their tags every year. So you just do it in the year that you're renewing your tag. But now, can you do it 2 years back to back? I don't know. We're
new at this. We don't know everything.
I will let you know in 364 days. And I even tried to pull that with the DMV lady. I was like, can I just check the box and say they're not here and not get them inspected? And she said, are they physically in the state? And I was like, yeah. She's like, then no.
Yeah. So anyway, like we were saying, the inspection process was very easy, and it didn't take very long at all.
It really was. We pulled
Livingston is a very small town, so we went to a little small town shop.
Yeah, we pulled into a drive, and the guy scanned the barcode on the truck, and the fifth wheel, I don't know if I should say this, but it was not in depth.
He did a great job, and it was very quick.
$14, and then we went around the loop and went right back out. It took less than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No waiting.
The longest thing of the whole thing was packing back up to go over there.
Yeah. Because we made a beeline from Page, Arizona to Livingston, Texas, and then we boondocked along the way. So when we got here, we wore slap ass out, and we just wanted to get the rig set up, get a good night's sleep. I was having to work while being on the road, and that's another thing about the Pep Wave. If you buy it from Techno RV, which is based in, I think, somewhere in South Alabama,
Mobile,
they will send you free the 12-volt adapter that plugs into that. So we took the Pep Wave, put it in the truck, connected it into the 12-volt power supply of the truck, and ran that thing in there so that my work laptop, my personal laptop, Maria's laptop, we were all connected to that T-Mobile signal and not having to use the phone as a hotspot.
I was actually editing video on the road.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice. I didn't have to worry about losing my signal. Why did you unpack the rig? Well, we got here and we were tired, so we unpacked.
Yeah, we didn't think we were going to have to take the rig or the truck to get inspected. We got up Thursday morning, and we hopped on the Goodfoot down to the DMV, and the DMV put the brakes on everything. And first of all, you have to do the registration before you get your driver's license, which we had that reversed. So we're blazing a trail down to the DMV. Well, the DMV decides that Maria's name is wrong on her Social Security card, in accordance with what South Dakota put on her driver's license.
Yeah, South Dakota was like, oh, by the way, your Social Security card is wrong. Let me fix that on your driver's license. Right, and then Texas was like, nope.
So
you got to get a new one. So
now, and
Livingston don't have a
in full disclosure, we knew it was wrong. We knew it was wrong from South Dakota.
Yeah.
We just didn't do anything about it.
Well, and also in South Dakota, we had our passports.
And that's the other thing. One, I have to keep a passport, and it has to be active. Well, ours were about to expire, so we had to send them off. Well, thanks to the federal government taking a week and forever, we didn't get those back in time to use that as our primary source of identification. So we then had to leave the DMV and go get an affidavit signed that Maria was getting her name corrected, then go back to do the registration, then go back and do the driver's license.
Yes.
Which, if you surrender your driver's license in Texas, you don't have to do anything but take the eye test. So you don't have to take the driving test, none of that stuff.
Registration before license? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because we had to have proof of insurance, proof of registration, and something else before we could, and inspection before we could get our driver's license, right?
Right.
For some reason.
Which I thought was, and here's the other thing. You don't have to change the title of your vehicle to Texas. We could have left it in South Dakota.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't make you move your title, but they do make you register the vehicle. Then you could go get your driver's license. And they actually asked to see our registration paperwork as part of the package before we could get our driver's license. And if you're an Escapees member, you can go to Escapees and domicile and click Texas or South Dakota or Florida, and they have packages already together, which would have been really helpful if we had done that beforehand. We would have had everything that we needed, but we skirted that process, and it was a pain in the butt, but we did it.
How do we maintain our youthful glow?
All right, so we drink a lot of Zip Fizz.
We used to.
Yeah. We now take a combination of beet juice and apple cider vinegar.
Yeah. We have a lot of home remedies.
Yeah.
This weekend we found some pickled garlic at the farmer's market. It was like habanero pickled garlic, and we've been popping those.
That's pretty good.
They're pretty good. No, we don't really drink that much.
No.
Well, we had some margaritas. We're not supposed to talk about that on YouTube.
We've
Anyway.
had some alcohol issues in the past.
We have not.
I've had some alcohol issues in the past.
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm not an alcoholic, but me and a couple manufacturers have gotten into it a couple times, and it usually ends up with me being in a bush or having to be driven home. So
we don't want to talk about that.
So we stay away from alcohol.
It's okay to say I had a margarita.
Hey, I had a blueberry mule at El Gringo in Spring, Texas that was really good.
Yeah. And I had a watermelon margarita, and it was really good too.
All right, so what else is there to cover? We've covered internet. We've covered the awning shades.
What's our next RV upgrade?
A Brinkley. Oop. That just slipped out, didn't it?
Yeah, no, it's not.
No,
Brinkley.
it's not.
In our dreams, and if we win the lottery, yeah.
Yeah.
But probably I've been seeing and hearing Clay talk to some people about getting a goose box or something.
Yeah, I think we're going to take the Rhino box that's so rigid. We're going to take that pin box off, and I think we're going to put a Gen Y gooseneck fitting on it. One, free up headspace, and two, the fifth wheel is just getting beat to hell driving these roads, and we need something that's got some flex in it. So
it might be our next upgrade. I don't know.
It's probably going to be our next upgrade. If we can, when we plan to go back to Michigan, if we skirt through Indiana, I'm going to call Ken's Hitches or whatever and see if we can work a deal out to where he swaps that out. But I think that's going to be our next one.
Just had to get new tires on the truck, so.
Yeah, that was a fiasco. Do not use Big O tires, period, ever, no matter where you're at. They scratched all the wheels on the dually. And for those of y'all that don't know, they're powder coated
We're not
Black-
going to talk about that.
wheels, and they mounted them on the machine wrong, scuffed the hell out of them, and now they won't.
Kim wants to
And I'm kind
know
of pissed about
where we're going to go in Colorado. I want to get my two. Well, there's like, I don't know if there's 3 or 4 national parks in Colorado. You know, we're big national park people. We kind of like to hit those. I don't know. But there's Mesa Verde, there's Rocky Mountain National Park, and I don't know what the other ones are, but I really have heard a lot of good things about Ouray, and so I want to go see Ouray. We have some friends that are outside of Denver that we want to see that we haven't seen in like 30 years. So,
What friends are those?
Linda and Jerry and
Oh,
Doug.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot they were in Colorado.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're going to go in Colorado. It's just one of those states that we haven't been to yet, and
We drove through there when we were on our way to Utah, and there was so much snow everywhere still that it was, I mean, it blew us away. There were still people skiing. We could see it from the interstate, and we're like, oh, we better keep going for a little bit because
basically we're going to start in the bottom right hand corner of Denver in Colorado, and then we're going to slow down just a little bit. You know, I feel like we've just been running and gunning, you know, other than a few stays here and there, but
ever since January, not a single one of our booked plans have gone as planned, and we've had to change some stuff.
I'm not going to say we've had bad luck, because
no.
That's not what it is.
No.
We've just done a horribly poor job of scheduling our time and being disciplined enough to stick to our own plan. We're both kind of like, you know, ADD coon dogs, and every time we see a squirrel, we run off in that direction, and it just it threw our plans into a loop. So,
but we ended up getting to spend, you know, we got to see family we weren't going to see, and we got to spend 6 weeks in Sevierville, Tennessee, which was really awesome. Got to see some friends.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that we created the situation that we're in because we just on a wild hair do something.
Yeah, I mean this week hasn't been wonderful, but you know, not all weeks are wonderful. But the light at the end of the tunnel is you get to see the kids this weekend.
Yeah, it took us a while to get out of vacation mode, and so the problem is now driving from East Coast to West Coast. We've done it so many times that it's not a big deal to do a beeline because we know how to boondock along the way, and we've got all that set up. So now it's almost like we've had all our barriers removed, and we're not scared to do crazy stuff, and it's just worse.
Yeah, Connie and Reed, we are still thinking about Michigan in August. Greg, are you trying to say Ouray? Because that's OURUY or something? Or are you saying some other name? Uriah? What are you saying? What recommended states to visit? I currently outside of DFW in my new rig.
All right,
leaving on my maiden voyage in about 2 weeks. Go west.
No, don't go west. Go north. And
North? We haven't been there. We don't know.
It's too damn hot down here. It really depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
So I've already said I don't like to be dirty for too long, and I dang sure don't like to sweat because I sweat like hog. In the southeast, it is so damn hot and humid. Now, granted, Texas has got humidity, but it's not like it is in the southeast. So stay out of the southeast, you know, until it gets around September, October. The west was really pretty in the spring, but now it's starting to get freaking hot. You know, Utah was great when it was 70 degrees and 12% humidity.
Well, yeah, I would say anywhere north, northwest, or northeast. I mean, we haven't been to the northeast
Don't go to
at
Oregon.
all.
Well, you might be able to go to Oregon now that it's out of May, but last time we went to Oregon, it rained so bad I was taking vitamin D to keep from going nuts.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah, congratulations on that, by the way, Nick. Greg said, "Congrats, Nick," and I said, "Also, yes, congrats." Because are you going full time? Or are you going on vacation? Or maiden voyage means you have a new rig, maybe, Nick. Congratulations, anyway.
If you like the mountains, congratulations on the rig.
Yeah.
And if you need any help with any of that, let me know. The first thing I'll tell you is don't buy all the crap that they tell you to buy. Buy it as you need it. You only need a water hose, water pressure regulator, surge protector, a sewer hose, and a power cord.
Yeah, we did a video on
with
that
TPMS.
a couple months back.
That's it to buy up front. The rest of it, buy it as you need it. We threw a bunch of stuff away. But I would say, if you like the mountains, East Tennessee is absolutely gorgeous, and there's a lot of stuff to do around Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
And
it's not that far from where you
are. Far.
If
you like true mountains, coming through Colorado, Utah, the eastern side of Idaho, Wyoming, the Grand Tetons, you can't beat that area. You really can't. Michigan, Mackinac Island is one of the most unique places that I think we've been. Yeah. Washington and Oregon, I will be 100% upfront. I didn't like it. I didn't like when we went to go see it. The weather was awful. It may have been the time of year, but I didn't like it.
It was May and last year, and it rained for 2 solid weeks and was like 55 degrees and windy. But I feel like I want to go back because it was beautiful, and we really enjoyed the Columbia River Gorge area. And
no, we did.
Okay, I did, but
now
anyway.
Central.
California. Glacier's a good one.
Central California around Mount Shasta, hands down, for me, easily top 5.
Oh yeah, Yosemite, Sequoia.
Yeah. And that
Kings Canyon.
That's a very unique area of California. They're farmers. They're some of the best cherries. Oh my God, I thought we were going to get sick off eating all the fresh cherries.
We did.
But that's the agricultural area of California. And you can, if you buy a $50 Escapees membership, you can stay in these places for like $24 a night.
That's true. That's how we ended up with Escapees.
That if you're not an Escapees member, are $125 a night. So
they have these things called SKP campgrounds, and we saved like $100 a night by getting us an Escapees membership. Yeah. And then we ended up, doing the mail service and all that after we went full time.
Glacier. So Marie and I fight as to which one was number one. Glacier or what was the
Kings Canyon?
Kings Canyon.
Glacier.
Those two are tied for number one in my mind.
Well, they're just totally different. If you want like beautiful desert mountain views, Kings Canyon. But if you want green and waterfalls and water, then Glacier.
But they're both very scenic drives that you can drive through them. Most of the national parks, if you're not into hiking, there's really not a whole lot that you can do. And
what are Todd and Sheila like from Switch It Up? They're just like they are on their videos. They're just real people, and they have kind hearts.
Yeah,
and
Sheila's one of the sweetest people I've ever met.
Yeah. And
Todd is exactly what you see on TV.
Yep.
He is probably one of the most caring people that I've ever met. If you get a chance to go to one of their huddles, I would highly encourage you to do it. I mean, save up for it and go do it because they're one of the few YouTube channels that I feel are 100% approachable. I mean, I can't tell you how much time they spent going around and meeting all 228 RVs that came to their huddle.
And their whole community, their whole thing is community, building community, and all serving the community, and
all giving
of
back
that.
and helping out. So
it's really great.
Can't say enough good things about Todd and Sheila.
Yeah, we absolutely love them. Did you see Ryan was still on here?
Hey, Ryan, buddy.
We're really approachable. Yeah.
Yeah, and if y'all haven't heard, y'all need to Google Ryan Harmon.
I said that a minute ago.
Well, I'm going to say it again. Because if Chris Stapleton and Luke Combs got together and somehow could create a musical byproduct of themselves,
I'm
it would be Ryan.
They have a baby.
He is one of the most dynamic voices I've heard, and I'm a very hard person to impress. He's really good.
Leaving Room for Detours, that's Connie and Reed.
Huh?
Leaving Room for Detours is Connie and Reed.
Hey, Reed, I was expecting a phone call.
Yeah, you never called. What's the matter? You're welcome, Ryan. You just keep doing what you do. Oh, I want to tell you something funny, Ryan. So, I was hoping that you'd play one of my favorite songs, which was, what was it? And we looked it up, and it was so funny. He did a parody on it. Chris Stapleton song, Tennessee Whiskey.
Oh.
And we looked it up, and you did a parody on it, and then I felt really bad for wanting you to play it, and it was funny. Because everybody apparently wants you to play that song. Yep.
We're big
Chris Stapleton
fans. All except for his song Maggie, which I think he should delete and burn that song.
It's too sad.
That's the saddest song I've ever heard in my life.
But what is the one that I always say is like our theme song? Like
Starting Over.
Yeah, it's like the story of our lives. All right. Well, we are almost.
I think that's it. We've been on here almost an hour, and
Freebird.
The battery on the camera is only supposed to last for an hour. So
yeah, we're gonna probably sign off. So if anybody has any last minute things to say or
any questions, comment, concerns. All right, nothing heard.
Well, thank y'all for joining us and making us feel like we're doing something right. Don't ever feel bad. It's a great song. Always happy to play it. I did that as a joke for musicians. Dean Dillon, one of the writers of it, is a hero of mine. Yeah, I did hear you talk about that. Anyway, I thought it was funny. But anyway, y'all have a good night, and we're going to sign off. And thanks again for joining us. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and as Todd says, be a doer of all things.
Yes, Connie, we're going to do. Y'all should pack your stuff up and plan to meet us up there.
They're going for sure. They're asking if we're going.
Oh, I didn't see a question mark there. Yes, we're going. That has been decided.
Oh, it has it. Okay. I'm glad. Bye.
Bye, y'all.